secara online. Dalam sistem registrasi, UT telah mengembangkan sistem registrasi online atau SRO melalui beragam devices seperti komputer ataupun smartphone. Dalam pengembangan bahan ajar, UT telah mengembangkan bahan ajar digital berbentuk PDF dan EPUB yang dapat diakses melalui Digital Library UT. Sedangkan dalam tutorial, UT sudah lama mengembangkan tutorial online atau tuton yang dirancang dalam Learning Management System atau LMS secara asinkronus. Seiring dengan perkembangan teknologi web, UT mengembangkan tutorial online synchronous dengan mengintegrasikan aktivitas tuet, e-lecturing, dan video conference atau VCon pada aktivitas tutorial online. Untuk pelaksanaan ujian akhir semester, sudah lama UT menyelenggarakan sistem ujian online. Pelaksanaan ujian online sampai dengan tahun 2017 hanya diselenggarakan di kantor UPPDJI UT dengan memanfaatkan jaringan internet dan komputer yang terstandar. Namun, pada tahun 2018, UT sudah mengembangkan dan menguji cobakan ujian online yang dilengkapi dengan fasilitas online proctoring. Sistem baru ini memungkinkan mahasiswa dapat mengikuti ujian secara online dimanapun mahasiswa berada tanpa perlu kehadiran seorang pengawas. Selain itu, UT juga menyediakan sumber belajar terbuka atau lebih dikenal dengan istilah Open Educational Resources atau OER. Oleh UT, istilah OER tersebut diberi nama Swaka UT yang merupakan singkatan dari Sumber Pembelajaran Terbuka Universitas Terbuka. Swaka UT ini dapat diakses bukan hanya untuk mahasiswa, tapi juga masyarakat umum secara gratis. Cakupan materi yang ada dalam Swaka UT antara lain UT TV yang berbasis YouTube, UT Radio yang ditransmisikan melalui internet, materi pengayaan berbasis online atau MPBO, perpustakaan digital, guru pintar online atau GPO, yakni merupakan portal untuk para guru di seluruh pelosok Indonesia agar mereka dapat mengakses sumber belajar dengan cepat, mudah, dan relatif murah. UT juga menyediakan konten dalam Swaka UT yang dapat dimanfaatkan oleh masyarakat tanpa dipungut biaya, yaitu Massive Open Online Courses atau MOOCs. UT juga telah membangun layanan bantuan belajar yang dapat dimanfaatkan oleh mahasiswa, yaitu berupa Dry Lab dan e-seminar. Dry Lab merupakan layanan bagi mahasiswa untuk melakukan kegiatan praktik atau praktikum yang dilakukan secara virtual dengan simulasi melalui komputer. Sedangkan e-seminar merupakan layanan yang diperuntukkan bagi mahasiswa saat mahasiswa tersebut mengikuti mata kuliah yang mewajibkan mahasiswa mempresentasikan hasil penelitiannya. Dalam mendukung layanan kepada mahasiswa atau calon mahasiswa, UT telah menyediakan beberapa fasilitas, yaitu pertama, Halo UT atau Online Customer Center, yaitu layanan pendukung untuk membantu mahasiswa memperoleh informasi tentang UT yang dapat dihubungi melalui berbagai media komunikasi. Kedua, Digital Marketing dengan memanfaatkan media sosial UT. Dalam mendukung pembelajaran e-learning kepada mahasiswa, fasilitas yang disediakan UT adalah Wi-Fi.id, yaitu layanan jaringan internet untuk publik berbasis wireless atau hotspot yang disediakan oleh Telkom yang dapat dimanfaatkan oleh mahasiswa UT untuk mengakses internet. Microsoft Office 365, yaitu layanan UT online yang dapat dimanfaatkan oleh mahasiswa guna meningkatkan kapasitas email, berbagi hasil presentasi, serta konferensi via web. Sentra Layanan UT atau disingkat SALUT. Sentra ini merupakan perpanjangan tangan UPPDJI yang berada di kota atau kabupaten strategis untuk memberikan dukungan layanan bagi mahasiswa, calon mahasiswa, atau anggota masyarakat terkait dengan informasi ke-UT-an, kegiatan pembelajaran, dan kegiatan pendidikan lainnya. Untuk menjaga standar mutu, UT juga telah mendapat pengakuan dari dalam dan luar negeri, yaitu oleh International Organization for Standardization atau ISO, Badan Akreditasi Nasional atau BAN-PT, dan International Council for Distance Education atau ICDE yang berpusat di Oslo, Norwegia.
We know that Universitas Terbuka share this commitment, providing world-class, accessible, higher education, and we're very proud to support you.
That Universitas Terbuka has assumed a leadership role in the field of open education resources or OER.
Universitas terdepan dari proses pembelajaran jarak jauh. Belum bisa tertanding dengan yang lain. Dan nggak akan bisa sebenarnya. Harus terdepan terus.
Assalamualaikum, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the third Cyber Education Forum webinar. The topic for today, I do believe it will be very interesting, which is about learning engagement model in virtual environment. My name is Fauzi Rahman as the moderator. Today, we are very fortunate to have two prominent speakers. The first one is Professor Dr. Eko Indrajit, M.Sc, M.B.A, M.Phil, M.A. And the second one is Professor Dr. Zoraini Wati Abbas. Before we jump to the presentation, I will invite Rector of Universitas Terbuka, Bapak Professor Ojat Darojat, M.Bus, Ph.D, to deliver a welcome speech. Time is yours, Prof. Okay, just a moment and please wait for Professor Ojat. Okay, I think Professor Ojat still has a technical problem. And then I will invite Bapak Rahmat Budiman, Ph.D, as Vice Rector for Institutional Development and Cooperation Affairs of Universitas Terbuka to deliver an opening remarks. Pak Rahmat, please.
Oke, terima kasih Pak Fauzi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, terima kasih banyak Pak Fauzi, Ibu Pauline, dan teman-teman dari IC Institute yang sudah menyelenggarakan, mengorganize acara yang ketiga ini. Yang terhormat Bapak Rector Universitas Terbuka, Profesor Ojat Darojat, kemudian keynote speaker hari ini, Profesor saya ini gangguan suara ini. Bisa mendengar suara saya, Mas Fauzi?
Bisa, Pak.
Oke,
jelas.
sorry.
Yang ini, Mas.
Baik. Sorry, terima kasih. Ini jaringannya ada agak bermasalah di tempat saya. Terima kasih, saya lanjutkan ya. Selamat pagi Prof. Eko, salam hangat, ketemu lagi waktu AIS beberapa waktu lalu, saya ketemu dengan Prof. Eko di UTCC, sempat foto bareng, dan saya kirim fotonya ke Bu Lovely. Terima kasih Pak Eko, kalau ada Pak Eko hari ini, Saya jamin acaranya pasti akan menarik. Kemudian yang saya hormati juga pembicara kedua, keynote speaker kedua,
Prof. Zura.
Prof. Zura. Terima kasih sudah hadir. Thank you very much. Selamat datang di acara AIS ini. Baik, karena waktu kita sangat pendek, saya akan sedikit menjelaskan mengenai AIS Institute kepada Bapak Ibu semua yang hadir. Buat Bapak Ibu yang pernah mengikuti acara ini, semoga ini menjadi refreshment. Buat Bapak Ibu yang baru pertama kali hadir, ini mudah-mudahan menjadi penjelasan agar tahu apa AIS Institute itu. Pak Fauzi, saya yang share screen atau Pak Fauzi?
Oh, boleh dari Bapak.
Oke, terima kasih. Baik. Sudah terlihat Pak Fauzi?
Sudah jelas, Pak.
Oke, terima kasih. Oke, baik, terima kasih. Dalam bahasa Indonesia ada pepatah yang mengatakan tak kenal maka tak sayang, tak sayang maka tak cinta. Jadi ini adalah sekelumit mengenai Indonesia Cyber Education Institute. Tapi anak-anak muda sekarang ada peribahasanya dirubah katanya. Kalau tak kenal maka tak aruf katanya. Sebegitu. Baik, ini adalah Indonesia Cyber Education Institute, Bapak Ibu. Dalam bahasa Indonesianya dikenal dengan istilah Unit Pengembangan Pembelajaran dalam Jaringan Indonesia, UPPDJI, Universitas Terbuka. Meskipun namanya ada Universitas Terbuka, tetapi Indonesia Cyber Education Institute adalah milik kita semua, milik semua institusi pendidikan tinggi di Indonesia. Jadi karena ini adalah milik semua, marilah kita rawat bersama-sama, mari kita besarkan bersama-sama, dan marilah kita pasarkan bersama-sama, agar semua orang juga memiliki pengetahuan yang sama mengenai Indonesia Cyber Education Institute. Oke, ini bahwa sekarang ini ada tantangan besar dalam dunia pendidikan, bahwa kita dihadapkan pada digital age, semua serba digital sekarang. Ada dua hal utama, yaitu tentang globalisasi dan worldwide internet. Semua sekarang sudah menggunakan internet, mulai dari kebutuhan untuk di kamar mandi sampai untuk kebutuhan di kantor, semuanya sudah tersedia atau terhubung dalam jaringan internet. Tentu kita ketahui bahwa di Indonesia dan di beberapa negara yang lain bahwa jaringan atau akses ke internet ini masih menjadi suatu hal yang isu-isu yang sangat isu yang penting juga. Kemudian ada internationalization, bahwa karena adanya internet ini semuanya sekarang menjadi terhubung. Sudah tidak ada lagi sekat-sekat geografis yang membatasi satu negara dengan negara lain. Komunikasi semakin mudah sehingga kolaborasi antara satu perguruan tinggi dan perguruan tinggi lain menjadi semakin lebih mudah. Kemudian yang ketiga adalah tentu kita bertujuan untuk menyukseskan SDGs ini. Tapi ada satu hal yang menarik ini adalah bahwa COVID-19 pandemi ini itu mendorong lahirnya cara-cara baru yang awalnya kita mendeliver pendidikan itu dari dalam kelas secara gradual namun pasti dan cepat, ternyata sekarang berubah menjadi pendidikan dalam jaringan untuk semua tingkat pendidikan, dari pendidikan rendah sampai pendidikan tinggi. Ini tentu menjadi trigger bagi kita semua bagaimana mengubah, tidak hanya mengubah mindset tetapi juga mengubah para pengambil kebijakan, cara kita mengajar, cara kita mendeliver pelajaran kita karena ini kita harus berubah. Berikutnya ini adalah tantangan berikutnya adalah ada kebijakan baru dari pemerintah, yaitu adanya Merdeka Belajar. Bahwa mahasiswa sekarang itu memiliki kebebasan, memiliki kesempatan untuk mengambil 20 SKS dari program studi lain dalam satu perguruan tinggi, ya kan? Dan 40 SKS dari perguruan tinggi lain. Ini kan menjadi semakin mahasiswa itu semakin kaya. Ya, menurut saya tidak hanya semakin kaya pengetahuannya saja, tetapi dia akan semakin kaya skillnya dalam bagaimana dia memanfaatkan teknologi informasi tersebut. Nah, ICE Institute ini lahir sebagai penghubung ya, penghubung antara mahasiswa dengan penyedia pendidikan, sehingga demikian akan memudahkan mahasiswa dalam mengakses, dalam mendapatkan layanan pendidikan baik di dalam perguruan tinggi mereka maupun antar perguruan tinggi. Nah, kemudian Indonesia Cyber Institute itu marketplace of online courses di Indonesia. Jadi seringkali diasosiasikan dengan belanja online. Apabila kita terbiasa dengan belanja online, jadi Indonesia Cyber Education Institute ini sebagai galerinya. Kalau yang lain itu merchandise, ini adalah pendidikan. Jadi a gallery of online courses yang ditawarkan di Indonesia. Kemudian mata kuliah atau kursus yang dia ambil di dalam Indonesia Cyber Education Institute ini nantinya bisa ditransfer, dialih kreditkan ke program studi di mana mahasiswa itu terdaftar. Kemudian ada micro credentialing, digital badges, ada certificate of accomplishment, online courses. Nah, bisa jadi ini menjadi kalau tidak di UT itu sebagai surat keterangan pendamping ijazah, akan menjadi nilai plus bagi mahasiswa bahwa di samping kompetensi lulusan yang mereka peroleh, mereka mempunyai kompetensi tambahan. Kemudian flexible learning. Nah, karena ini fleksibel online learning, mereka bisa menentukan waktu belajarnya, kemudian mereka memilih mata kuliahnya, semuanya diberikan kepada mahasiswa agar mereka memiliki kebebasan. Nah, berikutnya adalah bahwa ICE Institute ini menjadi semacam penghubung antara mahasiswa dengan job market nanti ke depan. Baik. Nah, ini adalah ICE Institute ya, bahwa penampang atau gambar yang Bapak Ibu saksikan di sini adalah adalah mengilustrasikan bagaimana ICE Institute itu bekerja. Di awal saya sampaikan bahwa ICE Institute itu meskipun ada Universitas Terbuka di bawahnya tadi, ini adalah milik kita bersama. Jadi semua perguruan tinggi diharapkan bisa berkontribusi, menawarkan mata kuliahnya di ICE Institute, kemudian perguruan tinggi itu menawarkan programnya itu baik kepada mahasiswanya maupun ke mahasiswa lain. Nah, ICE Institute nanti juga akan berfungsi sebagai marketernya. Kita akan promosikan mata kuliah yang ditawarkan oleh setiap dalam tanda kutip ya pelapak di dalam ICE Institute ini, sehingga lebih banyak masyarakat yang dapat memanfaatkan mata kuliah yang ditawarkan oleh perguruan tinggi yang ikut di ICE ini. Kemudian tadi sudah sampaikan bahwa kita menjadi penghubung antara mahasiswa dan job marketnya itu. Oke, jadi akan memudahkan mahasiswa dalam menemukan lapangan pekerjaan atau tempat mereka bekerja. Baik. Fungsinya untuk ICE Institute ini adalah sebagai kurasi, verifikasi, dan register online courses. Jadi tidak semua perguruan tinggi itu bisa menawarkan programnya di dalam ICE. Ada proses yang harus dilewati untuk verifikasi, kurasi, agar apa? Agar semua mata kuliah yang ditawarkan di dalam ICE itu sudah standardized, yang kualitasnya terkontrol. Beberapa waktu yang lalu saya ilustrasikan di sebuah online shop itu ada pelapak yang menawarkan ijazah sertifikat abal-abal. dengan biaya untuk sertifikat ijazah itu sampai 6 juta dan lain sebagainya. Nah, fungsi kurasi, verifikasi itu seperti ini yang dilakukan sehingga bisa memastikan bahwa semua mata kuliah yang ditawarkan dalam ICE Institute itu sudah terkurasi dan terverifikasi. Baik dari segi konten, delivery-nya sehingga kualitasnya bisa dipertanggungjawabkan. Kemudian kita berfungsinya adalah manage online courses gallery-nya, kita merawat tampilannya, penawarannya, lain sebagainya, termasuk di dalamnya apabila ada informasi baru, kita bisa tawarkan, kita sampaikan kepada para customer kita. Nah, yang berikutnya ada research and innovation in online learning. Ini sudah ada beberapa grup research yang untuk pengembangan online learning dan digital learning ke depannya. Jadi diharapkan perguruan tinggi nanti yang tergabung ke dalam ICE Institute ini bukan hanya menawarkan mata kuliah, tetapi juga terlibat dalam penelitian. Yang berikutnya adalah partnership dan sertifikasi. Jadi ICE Institute ini nanti akan mengeluarkan sertifikat berdasarkan mata kuliah dan yang diambil oleh peserta. Kemudian ada link to job market seperti yang saya sampaikan, kita akan memberikan akses kepada mahasiswa, masyarakat agar dapat terhubung dengan dunia kerja sesuai tentunya dengan pendidikan atau mata kuliah yang mereka ambil. Berikutnya ini adalah kenapa ini menarik ya, kenapa harus ICE. Pertama itu karena biayanya murah. Ya, biayanya murah, biayanya terjangkau. Kadang-kadang kata murah itu asosiasinya agak kurang baik. Jadi biayanya terjangkau, delivery-nya dalam bahasa Indonesia dan dalam bahasa Inggris. Kemudian tadi sampaikan bahwa kualitasnya terjamin. Kemudian mata kuliah yang ditawarkan adalah dari perguruan tinggi swasta dan negeri terkemuka di Indonesia dan juga dari perguruan tinggi asing. Kemudian demand different courses offering. Jadi kita akan melihat mata kuliah apa saja yang diminati oleh pasar. Kemudian ada micro credential, sertifikat, dan transferable, sehingga mahasiswa bisa mengambil setelah mereka menempuh beberapa mata kuliah, mereka bisa transfer atau seperti saya sampaikan mereka mendapatkan sertifikat, di mana sertifikat itu bisa digunakan ketika mereka melamar pekerjaan, itu menjadi semacam kredit bagi mereka. Kemudian dynamic user experience, karena ini terbuka, mereka lebih fleksibel dalam mengatur waktu mengikuti kursus mata kuliah tersebut. Nah, ini adalah official website-nya. Ini masih dalam pengembangan. Bapak Ibu bisa explore apa ICE Institute itu. Apabila ada masukan, kami sangat berterima kasih. Silakan Bapak Ibu memberi masukan atas apa yang telah dikembangkan. Mudah-mudahan masukan Bapak Ibu itu bisa dijadikan improvement bagi kami. Nah, ini adalah beberapa mata kuliah yang bisa kita lihat. Misalnya dari UGM, UT, UNJ, UBINUS, itu mata kuliahnya itu tentang Learning Analytic Model Development. Jadi sudah tematik lah gitu bisa dikatakan. Jadi universitas atau perguruan tinggi itu menawarkan mata kuliah unggulan berdasarkan perguruan tinggi masing-masing. Gitu. Jadi mahasiswa tinggal milih mau ikut mata kuliah apa, perguruan tingginya yang mana. Sehingga sekali lagi bahwa mereka memiliki kebebasan, masyarakat atau mahasiswa memiliki kebebasan untuk memilih mata kuliah yang sesuai dengan kebutuhan mereka. Itulah namanya dengan Merdeka Belajar. Dan itulah slide terakhir yang bisa saya sampaikan, Bapak Ibu. Mudah-mudahan Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian memiliki penasaran sehingga bisa mengikuti acara kita pagi ini dan terus mengikuti sesi-sesi lainnya sehingga rasa kepenasaran itu bisa terjawabkan. Demikian, saya mohon maaf atas segala kekurangan. Saya kembalikan kepada Pak Fauzi. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih. Thank you very much, Pak Rahmat. And then now I will invite Rector of Universitas Terbuka, Bapak Profesor Ojat Darojat M.Bus Ph.D. to deliver a welcome speech. Time is yours, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Fauzi. Everyone, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good day, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Just before we started, I would like to express my gratitude to all our speakers and moderator, Pak Fauzi, who so generously accepting our invitations. A friend of mine, Pak Eko, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Richardus Eko Indrajit, M.Sc, M.Bd, Master of Philosophy, M.A, and a Rector of Universitas Pradita. And also Professor Dr. Zoraini Wati Abbas, Dean of School of Distance Education, University Science Malaysia. And of course, Ibu Pauline, Professor Dr. Pradita. And also to our participants on behalf of UT, I would like to express my warmest gratitude for your participations in this webinar. And it is my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the third Cyber Education Institute 2021 on the topic Learning Engagement Model in Virtual Environment. Attendance as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, learning in the era of new normal is carried out by learning from home. All education institutions were forced to adapt this phenomenon in carrying out their learning activities, since learning in conventional ways, like what they had been implemented before, is impossible. The COVID-19 has brought about challenges and opportunity to move forward with preparation to improve ICT and learning facilities, increase lecture capacity, and develop flexible policies. And this phenomenon is therefore has strengthened UT identity as the leader of the Eastern higher education institution in Indonesia. Because since its establishment 36 years ago, UT has been implemented a distant learning system by utilizing advancement of information technology. Thus, UT is one step ahead in conducting online learning. Various types of learning aid services have been provided to reach the unreached students who are scattered in all corners of the country, even abroad, that cannot be served by conventional methods. All these services are provided to suit the need and styles of UT students' millennial generations, such as online tutorial, webinar tutorial, radio tutorials, and TV sessions. Therefore, our topic for today is very relevant considering the importance of learning engagement in learning for students. Whereas engaging students in the learning process could increase their attention and focus, motivate them to practice higher level critical thinking skills, and promote meaningful learning experience. The COVID-19 pandemic provides an opportunity for all to reflect on how to maintain quality higher educations and ensure equitable access for all. And with the immense experience and expertise assembled here today, I am confident that this webinar will facilitate a very constructive exchange of knowledge I wish you all a most fruitful day with interesting and stimulating discussions. So thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor Ojat. And now I will invite Professor Dr. Paulina Panen as the head of ICE Institute to deliver information related to ICE Institute. Please, Prof.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Fauzi. Everybody, very good morning to all of you. Prof. Eko, Ibu Professor Zoraini. Thank you for being our speakers today. We are honored to have you both in our webinar. Pak Fauzi, could you also, splash the screen regarding the scholarship in my PowerPoint? Is there any there?
I'm sorry, Prof. I'm using a different laptop.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Just one moment then.
Okay.
Just one moment. No problem. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. I will continue what Pak Rahmat has been sharing with all of you, the audience, because this is very important to all of us. Prof. Ojat, I think we are very proud that ICE Institute has been making good way in terms of collaborating. Now we have so many partners already. And because of this partnership, we can afford to have our scholarship. And we call it scholarship Mendikbudristek Merdeka untuk Merdeka Belajar untuk Semua. The scholarship is given for individual courses. Can you see?
Yes, it's
okay. Clear. The scholarship is given for individual courses taken through ICE Institute from EDX, the compilation of EDX courses. We call it EDX ICE Online Campus Catalog. We have 1,381 online courses coming from 55 higher education institutions, including Harvard University, MIT, Imperial College, Tsinghua University, University of Adelaide, and a lot of other universities around the world. And we can accommodate up to 2,500 students per semester. So if you are interested, please sign up for this scholarship. That is the international courses. And we also have seats available for the 128 online courses coming from the 14 ICE Institute partners, including Universitas Terbuka, UI, Universitas Pradita, BINUS, UNS, Pelita Harapan, etc. They have already got into 128 courses, make it available in ICE Institute. That will be able to accommodate 12,800 students too. So everybody in the audience, if you have students or colleagues who are interested in taking this opportunity to have to get the scholarship from Mendikbudristek Merdeka Belajar untuk Semua, either from EDX or from our ICE Institute partners, please sign up. And what you need to how you need to sign up is that the registration is through individual university. And who are the university? Those university is 1,880 public and private universities who has got accreditation from BAN-PT, institutional accreditation, ya, akreditasi perguruan tinggi, A, B, C, or unggul, baik sekali, dan baik. So please contact your own individual universities. Try to register for these courses, or you may contact our secretariat at ici@ac.ed. Ya, Bapak Ibu silahkan dikontak ya Bapak Ibu kalau memang berminat untuk memperoleh scholarship-nya. Dan Pak Ojat ini merupakan kerja bersama dengan teman-teman di konsorsium. Pak Ojat, kita sudah bisa menghasilkan mengupayakan scholarship seperti ini. Tentunya kita sangat berterima kasih kepada semua konsorsium kita. Demikian tambahan informasi dari saya, Bapak Ibu sekalian, teman-teman yang menjadi audiens dari seminar ini. Selamat menyaksikan seminar ini, selamat mengikutinya, dan semoga bermanfaat untuk kita semua. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Pauline. And now it's time for me to invite the first speaker, Professor Eko Indrajit. He was born in Jakarta, January 24th, 1969. He graduated from Surabaya Institute of Technology as computer engineer in 1992 and received full scholarship from Pertamina Oil Company to finish his study as Master of Applied Computer Science at Harvard University, USA. He is also a holder of Master of Business Administration from Leicester University, and then Master of Communication from LSPR, and then Master of Philosophy from Maastricht School of Management, the Netherlands. His Doctor of Business Administration was from University of the City of Manila, the Philippines. And then currently, he is serving as Rector of Pradita University. Prof. Eko, 20 minutes is your time to deliver the presentation. Please.
Thank you so much, Pak Fauzi. The Honorable Pak Rector of Universitas Terbuka Indonesia, Pak Ojat, Professor Ojat, Darojat, my fellow friend and also my guru, Prof. Paulina Panen, all of the fellows, researchers, professors, lecturers from all over Indonesia. A very good morning to all of you. And I hope you are all in a very good condition today. And thank you so much that I was given the opportunity to share with you our research proposal. This research proposal actually is conducted as a part of our concern about the today's effort on conducting learning through a virtual environment because of the COVID-19. I was asked the moderator whether I should use Indonesian or English. They said I have to use mixed language, gitu ya. So I will use mixed language, Prof. Ojat. A little bit Indonesia, a little bit English, gitu ya. Mudah-mudahan bisa berguna bagi Bapak Ibu sekalian. So this is what we are going to do in the next at least 6 months to 1 year. We would like to conduct a research about the learning engagement model in the virtual environment. What is the background behind this idea? As we know, Bapak Ibu sekalian, COVID-19 pandemic situation has really accelerated the use of ICT in the education sector. For more than 1 year, I still remember it started March 16, 2020, where everybody have to go home and conduct the learning process from home. Massively in Indonesia, all schools, all campuses, we have to use IT for learning. It's a long and winding road, said the Beatles on the song, because we are undergone the process without being prepared. Ya, kita bilangnya itu mendadak PJJ katanya, karena tidak ada preparation sama sekali. Ya. Belum banyak mereka yang belajar bagaimana cara menyelenggarakan proses pembelajaran lewat e-learning. So, we survive, of course, but there are the questions and the issues raised by the teacher especially. Setiap kali ada seminar, selalu ada banyak sekali isu permasalahan yang terkait dengan learning process through online. The first issue that is encountered is how to evaluate the effectiveness. That's number one. Yeah, every day I conduct a seminar. That kind of question is raised by many people, especially teachers. The second one, the parents said that most of the students are already bored with the same approach that the school and teacher are using every day and day. Why? Because we are not prepared. We don't have the skills and competency enough to conduct the cyber pedagogy. And then the third one, the thing that are really interested to us is how to create an effective engagement through virtual environment. And the third issue is really interested our team to conduct a special research on learning engagement in a virtual environment. So this is all about the background of our research. So what we mean by the learning in virtual worlds, we know that in the world of the education or the instructional technology, there is an interaction between the students and the teachers or educators in a environment or in the learning environment. So what happened in everyday life after the COVID, many of us are using what we call as the learning environment. I call it a 2D virtual meeting and 3D virtual meeting. What is the 2D virtual meeting? We are using Zoom, we are using WebEx, Microsoft Meet, Google Meeting, StreamYard, WhatsApp, and all kind of interaction, synchronous interaction, whether you are using multimedia or not. But there are some initiative where they try to embark the new 3-dimensional environment, using virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, to be tested in the learning process. So 99% we are using the 2D virtual meeting. I call it 2D because like Zoom, we only have the 2D dimension. But some of the people, or the schools, they are also already starting to embark the virtual reality and augmented reality into a learning process. So we are going to research on those two environments. And also there are two models of the interaction, the synchronous and asynchronous. We conducted both. Yeah, some of the schools more asynchronous than synchronous, and the other school the vice versa. But we never do the research on how effective the synchronous and asynchronous in those two environments. In the synchronous, we have a planned synchronous, but sometimes we have an ad hoc sessions because of an emergency situation. Also in the asynchronous, we have a structured asynchronous material and unstructured one. So this is what we call as a learning in a virtual world. So those two situations, the learning environment and mode of interaction, and also the virtual classroom, will be used as our environment laboratory. So if I focus on this one, there will be two research questions that need to be answered during our research. The first one is, how effective are the learning process using a virtual environment in terms of engagement? So we are going to study the past experience, what happened, because nobody knows whether there are engagement or not. What I mean by engagement is a truly authentic engagement, yeah, not a fake one, not a pseudo one, yeah. Because if you ask if the teacher asks the student, of course the student say yes, we are interested in your teaching, but we don't know whether this is a legitimate or not. Based on that one, we are going to answer the second question, which is what needs to be done to ensure that effective engagement within a virtual learning environment. So there are many conceptual frameworks that we are going to use. Yeah. for this one, especially the one that related to the engagement of learning in the online or virtual environment. So this is the sixth situation that we are going to research. The two-dimension synchronous virtual meeting interaction using Zoom, Microsoft, Google Meet, StreamYard, WhatsApp, and all kind of means of the IT. And also we are going to embark on the emerging one, which is the 3D virtual reality. We are creating a special environment in the 3D, and we will ask the students, the teachers, and the professors to use it. And let's see how engagement are being produced on those kind of environment. And we are going to do three scenarios. Yeah. The first scenario is the classical teacher-student learning situation. So it's really mimic what happened in the classical interaction. One teacher and several students at the same time using 2D environment and 3D environment, yeah, at the same time, synchronous at the same time. Yeah, so one teacher and several students. That is the first setting. The second one is students group discussion. So this is just among students. Yeah, among students. So all of the students, they are doing the collaboration or cooperation work or work group discussion. And then we will see whether the 2D and the 3D are effective or not in terms of engagement. And the third one is the panel examination of any final project. And this one is the opposite of the first one. If the first one teacher and different student, the third one is one student but with the different teachers. Yeah, so for example, if you are coming from the university, it's like your thesis defense, ya, seperti ujian skripsi, ya, atau disertasi atau tesis, begitu ya. Jadi yang pertama itu adalah satu pendidik, banyak peserta didik. Itu konteksnya. Yang kedua, sama-sama peer, ya, karena semuanya peserta didik, ya, tidak ada pendidik ya, jadi mungkin akan lebih cair di sana. Dan yang ketiga kebalikannya, satu student banyak pendidiknya. Nah, jadi kita lihat deg-degan mana sidang skripsi atau sidang tesis lewat Zoom atau lewat 3D nanti kita lihat ya Pak Fauzi ya. Apakah lewat Zoom, lewat Webex, lewat WA ya, itu sama dengan kalau kita nanti lewat pada augmented reality, ada virtual reality-nya atau mixed reality kita campur. Let's see. Karena situasinya different ya. Ya, jadi the number 1 and number 4 is one teacher, several students. Number 2 and number 5 is several students at the same time. And number 3 and number 5, one student and several teachers, or professors or lecturers. Yeah, we can conduct it those ones. So we have a 6 setting environment on the research. Let's see what will be the result. So what is the learning engagement that we are talking about? Is the ability to motivationally and behaviorally engage in an effective learning process. So we have to look into whether they are an activity in the learning, they are eager to participate or not, they are willing to expend effort or not, they are inspired or not, whether they are motivated or not. So this is the phenomena, the indicator that we are going to look to prove that they are really engaged on the learning environment. And then the 3 dimension of engagement that we are going to focus is a cognitive level, emotional level, and behavioral level. So those 6 setting of the environment, we will see the 3-dimension engagement of all of the settings, setup scenarios. So how to measure the engagement? There's the $1 million questions. So we are going to use 3 different types at the same time. The first one is through the questionnaire and surveys. Yeah, the survey. Of course, we know the questionnaire and surveys. based on the indicators. We are going to design this questionnaire and survey. But the second and the third one is really interesting. The second one, we are going to use a brain signal sensors. So we are going to analyze the wave, the brain wave, the alpha wave and the beta wave and other related wave of the brain sensors. Because this is a really authentic, originals coming up from the brain of the students. We will see whether they are getting attention or not, whether they are boring or not. And the third one, to make our research stronger, we are going to use a micro-expression-based face recognition. Because by using the application of this software, we will see the indicator from the face of the students. Of course, if they are laughing, if they are happy, we'll see that they are more engaged in the process. But you can see if they are boring, they are boring, they don't really like, they don't interested in what's happening, you will see from the micro expression. So these three inputs, we are going to triangulate those three to have a strong evidence whether the engagement is happening or not. And the samples, hopefully, we are going to test for all class because this is quite a long research, from the kindergarten to the graduate program. From the preschools up to the college, up to the universities, because engagement also relate to the age of the students and also the type or the model of the interactions. So hopefully we are going to test this in the whole stages of education. We are conducting also 7 steps on the research. The first one, we are going to analyze virtual learning engagement characteristics, because virtual learning is totally different than the physical one. It's not as easy as changing from the physical to the virtual, because this is the different type of a game. The second one, we are going to develop the observable learning engagement indicators. Indicators from the brain, indicators from the face, indicators from the surface. And after that, the third one, we are designing the virtual environment, the 2D and the 3D. After we design it, we will preparing the virtual environment for experiment, because the virtual environment, we are trying to design as semirip mungkin with the existing one. Semirip mungkin. Even the face for the 3D also we are going to digitalize your face. So sedikit mungkin kita mengikuti apa yang terjadi dalam dunia nyata. Setelah 4 proses pertama selesai, then number 5, we are conducting series of learning activity as planned. Dari sini, we are collecting and analyzing the research data, and we will deciding what is the success factor for virtual learning, because we will see where are the point of engagement they are highly happening, and which one is poor engagements being produced in what kind of setting, etc. So this is the 7 big stages that we are going to conduct. And this is my team, it's 6 of us. Pak Fauzi, my handsome Pak Fauzi Rahman is number 1. He is the head of the leader of these researchers. And the second one is me. And then Pak Uwais from Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Pak Oktaneri from Siameo Siamolek, Mbak Ikatri from Universitas Terbuka, and my colleague also from ITS Surabaya, Pak Ahmad Afandi. So I don't know how we are going to share our research, but because we have 6 stages, Pak Fauzi, Maybe one conducted on the kindergarten, one in the junior high school, one in the graduate school. We will share our roles, yeah? So that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we are going to conduct maybe monthly or 3 monthly meeting for informing you if you are interested on this research. But I hope this research will bring us positive and significant contribution to us as the educators. Bapak Ibu sekalian, masa depan datang lebih cepat dari waktunya. Dulu kita tidak percaya ketika akan dikatakan e-learning akan dipakai di Indonesia secara masif. Tapi karena ada makhluk kecil yang namanya COVID, ternyata e-learning datang lebih cepat dari yang kita duga dan secara masif. Jadi never underestimate the trend of IT in education. Sekarang juga kalau kita bicara masalah 3D, kita ngomong virtual reality, kita ngomong augmented reality, kita ngomong mixed reality, semua akan bilang, oh it's so far away, masih jauh gitu ya. We learn from the pandemic. Jangan pernah underestimate trend dalam dunia pendidikan, dan jangan lupa antisipasi, persiapkan sebelum hal tersebut terjadi. Jadi kita pelajari 3D virtual environment sedini mungkin, agar nanti jika sudah dipergunakan, kita tidak terkaget-kaget lagi. And I hope this research can answer the needs of the educators, the students, and the parents who have the question whether it is possible to create a positive and effective engagement in a virtual environment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Eko, for a great presentation. And for all participants, if you have a question for Prof. Eko, you may type it on the Q&A box, and we will pick and answer your question after the second speaker finishes her presentation. Now, I will invite Professor Zora. Professor Zoraini Wati Abbas has been an educator most of her life. She is currently the Dean of School of Distance Education at University Sains Malaysia in Penang. This is the 6th university that she is contributing to, 2 of which are open and distance learning universities. The first one is Open University Malaysia, and the second one is Wawasan Open University. And then she was top 2 educators among 14 influential higher education leaders in Southeast Asia, and received an Education Leadership Award from the World Corporate Universities Congress in 2014. Professor Zora, 20 minutes is your time for your presentation. Please.
Ya, selamat pagi Pak Fauzi. Terima kasih
for
introducing me. Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera ya semuanya. Not sure kalau Prof Ojat masih ada, dan Pak Rahmat, terima kasih for having me here. Prof Paulina and also Prof Eko, I enjoyed your presentation ya. Okay, well, the title ya untuk pagi ini, Student Engagement in Online Learning, Connecting the Dots ya. Okay, can you all see my slides ya, just to be sure?
Yes, clear.
Okay, yeah, terima kasih. Okay, what I'd like to share this morning is about student engagement that I have been aware is important. I taught a Masters of Education, Masters in Instructional Design and Technology course at the Open University Malaysia about 12 years ago. Then what I found was that it was important to connect the dots. And Ibu Paulina juga waktu itu dijemput juga ya untuk to teach ya 1 or 2 of our courses di OUM dulu ya. So I'll just share that with you, and semoga ya kita bisa itu belajar ya sesama kita ya. I mean to learn from each other. All right. Just very, very quickly, I'm grateful that I have been able to serve the few levels of education, preschool, primary, secondary, and of late 30 plus years in higher education. And I have been able to work in a few countries, and the organizations I've served includes 6 universities and some other organizations which are not of higher education. And the learning and teaching tools that we used, just to remind everyone, and especially if you are in your 50s and 60s, you probably started teaching using blackboards or whiteboards, blackboards, but actually they were green, by the time I came to using it. And then we had the OHP slide projectors, video players, and then, we had web portals, the learning management system, social media platforms, apps on our phone, on our tablets. And then today, all of a sudden, everyone, like it or not, is into conferencing, desktop conferencing, be it audio ataupun video. Okay. Okay, as Pak Eko mentioned, COVID has made us go into online learning. Online learning can be an enabler, but at the same time, it can also be not an obstacle. Jadi, I think Pak Eko punya research is timely, and I'm sure will generate interesting findings. It will enlighten us and hopefully provide maybe sort of a model for how to make open learning work. So I also look forward to the findings later. And kalau bisa maybe collaborative research in some ways, maybe 2 countries can do the research, but that's for discussion later. All right, I believe student engagement is key to successful online learning. And I'll define what student engagement is. I'll provide maybe some framework later on for us to understand what student engagement could mean. Just an example, at the other end, at the worst end, a professor could be teaching, what looks like what you see on the board, and then all he does, or all he expects, or what he expects students to be able to do it. Now that he's done all that, okay, now you do it. Now we know that teaching is not really that easy. I mean, it can be easy, but not necessarily that easy. Teaching is something that we have to be good at. And if we were teaching a course, we should be able to design the course well. And we must understand what components make up the course. And I will go into this as well in a later slide. Student engagement, the latest buzzword. Actually, it's not very new. This is a screenshot from 2014 by Graham Gibbs. And at that time, student engagement is the latest buzzword. And if we were to look at all the articles that have been published on student engagement, and these are taken from the publications of Taylor and Francis, and we see such titles, and then another set of titles. Okay, so all about student engagement. And I'm focusing on higher education, for today. And let's start with what is student engagement. All right, Pak Eko had mentioned this also. The common types of student engagement are related to 3 elements. Number 1, behavioral. Number 2, emotional. And number 3, cognitive. And what are they? So if we look at the descriptions for each one. So there's positive engagement if the behavioral aspect of the student is that they attend lectures and they participate with enthusiasm. If it's not lectures, then it is online tutorials into this context. And if they are not engaged, they skip the tutorials or the online lectures. And negative, worse, is that they disrupt the lectures. So they attend maybe, but they are disruptive, or they just boycott, and tell everyone else, hey, that lecture is not good. I mean, why bother to attend their online lectures? Emotional, yeah, as Pak Eka was saying, okay, we measure the interest of the student perhaps by using brain signal sensor ataupun micro expression, yeah, and that's captured by software technology, yeah, and so on. But basically, emotional element is where the student shows an interest. That means they are positively engaged, or if they're not engaged at all, they show boredom. Then kalau negative totally, it's rejection of the course, of the lecturer, and so on. And if it's the cognitive element, the positive engagement is whereby the student meets or exceeds assignment requirements, for example. And if I can extend it, it's also about them coming back to enroll the next semester. And if they continue to be engaged the next semester until they graduate. And if it's non-engagement, their assignments are late, they rush their assignments, do it last minute, or they just don't do any assignment at all. Negative is when they redefine parameters for assignments. So that's not very good, but basically this describes the three elements of student engagement. And why is student engagement important? Okay, based on my literature review, this was a few years ago when I was studying about what student engagement is all about and why is it important. There are millions of articles, maybe 11 million, 12 million articles. Most of them are based on research findings, and they identify that student engagement is important because it defines or it determines student success. That means graduation. It defines student development, maybe personal development. It defines the level of student satisfaction, the level of student persistence in pursuing their studies or their coursework. It determines how well they achieve, academically, maybe as measured in terms of GPA or CGPA or grades. And also, of course, social engagement with their peers and with their lecturers and the university administrators. Okay, how do we achieve student engagement? Okay, this is like the background, for me, because I come from the education field. So we've talked about the various theories of learning: behaviorism, cognitivism, constructivism, connectivism. And this has taken place from in the 70s or so, maybe earlier. But we talked about programming, drill and practice, a CBT, internet-based training, e-learning, and today, of course, a whole range of social software and platforms and so on, including desktop conferencing. But more important is, all this has implication, atau impact, on the individual growth of the student as well as the group growth, where students work together to learn with each other or from each other, and where all these theories of learning impact on what happens. Just to share with you something that I proposed or shared recently with my colleagues at the School of Distance Education in USM, I suggested that we regroup our learning model and make it tighter. And let's say we have self-managed learning or self-directed learning via what we call our self-instructional materials, and we're calling them I-modules because I want it to be interactive. Interactive because we're going to have videos in them and so on, audio, everything. And then, of course, what we normally do at USM is to provide 1 hour lectures. But I want to change that into online tutorials because the lectures will be in the I-modules. And apart from tutorial sessions, because, it's COVID, so all the lab sessions, practical sessions, science lab, physics lab, and so on, are now taking place through virtual lab sessions. So this is sometimes maybe 3D, Okay, then of course we have our learning management system. We call it the e-learning portal. And this will support the synchronous as well as asynchronous learning. Okay, and basically we want student engagement to be the outcome of what we do. And to do that, we have to have this well-blended learning environment with the I-modules, and then to have this high-tech but it's not only high tech, but it's also high touch environment. And of course, we need to develop or reskill, or upskill our academicians and also the administrative staff who will support all this learning and teaching. Okay, I call it connecting the dots because basically everybody will say, yes, we have done all that. Yeah, I think they've done all that in compartments. But let's say if we were to really connect the dots. So we have our course learning outcomes that will determine the learning content activities and self-checks, when we provide them, in the I modules. The I modules could be having the textual explanations, maybe audio recordings, video recordings, and maybe the visuals, the charts, the diagrams, infographics, and then in there also will be embedded the links to various social media or learning tools. So it could be Mentimeter, it could be Kahoot, it could be crossword puzzles, and also forums that can take place in the learning management system and whatever else, that come along and that lecturers see as relevant, to embed together with their teaching in the I module. Okay, then we have our 10-hour online tutorials, total of 10 hours, in the whole study period. So this is where we normally do the desk or the mobile conferencing. So typically at USM, we use WebEx. And of course, there is that assessment element. And assessments, formative and summative, but they must be in line or alignment, ada alignment dengan course learning outcomes and also with the tutorials and also of course with the learning content activities and so on. So it's about connecting the dots, all over the place, with all this, let's say the 4 main elements, and the dots are all connected and well connected. So it's about redesigning the course. Now for learning management forums, learning management system, forums in the learning management system, I applied this at one point. I mean, whenever I have the forums, this is what I apply. And this is the community of inquiry model of engagement. So jadi we have social presence, we have cognitive presence, and we have teaching presence. So this is what we need to have in the forums. So people are comfortable. The students are comfortable. The social presence there. They feel supported. They feel that it's safe for them to say anything. But of course, we do have rules. They cannot just say anything. It has to be something that contributes to each other's learning growth. And then cognitive presence is about, what stimulates their mind, what is meaningful to them, what is appropriate, for the course, and so on. Then, of course, we have the teaching presence. We are not there 24/7. We are there maybe 2-3 times or maybe 4-5 times a week. But the students are also the same, 3-4 times a week or 5 times a week. But, they must feel that we are present in that learning management system or in the forums in particular. And when that happens, when the cognitive presence is there, the teaching presence is felt, then the social presence is made available for them, then the true learning will happen and all the other things, the supporting discourse, setting climate, selecting content, all that will happen. Now, this model has been or was introduced year 2000 and until now, I believe it is still relevant. And if we were to adopt this model for forum discussions, it should work. All right. Now, I did a case study when I was teaching at the Open University Malaysia. This was a postgraduate course, the part of the Masters of Instructional Design and Technology program. So what was important is during our course design, we create an environment to support social constructivist learning. Some of the latest, especially for adult learners, some of the latest learning theories. And we develop or design activities to support student engagement. And I had asked the students, what is student engagement to them? So I got feedback from them. I asked them what it means to be engaged. And I asked them, what would be the indicators of student engagement? So these are just some screenshots of the courses that I did before. And when we asked, okay, what does it feel to be engaged in learning? And what are the 3 factors that will encourage or show evidence that the learners are engaged? So these were some of the questions. So they said to be engaged in learning means to be self-motivated to learn, or the instructor encourages learners to take an active role in their own learning by giving them practical tasks. What it means is the learner is actively involved in all learning activities, whether it's the material, whether it's assignments, or whether it's interaction with the instructor or peers and so on. They also say it also means that the task must be able to maintain the students' interest and challenge the students' problem-solving abilities, their reasoning, the evaluation skills, and other cognitive abilities. And also the last one, they commented on that learning engagement involves learners in authentic tasks to involve problem solving. So these were their answers, which I captured. The emerging themes on student engagement were self-motivation and all that. Yeah, I mean, I won't read it again, but this is the list, about 6-7 items. Okay, so basically they want meaningful tasks. They want, themselves as adult learners for learning to be meaningful, for learning to be practical. And if we manage to get them engaged, they would feel that, they're self-motivated because there was encouragement from the instructor. Some of the evidence, these are the evidence. I'm just going to name a few. For example, completing the assignments, submitting the assignments on time, completing the course online, obtaining good grades, motivating others in class, getting involved in the class discussions. And basically, this was a 100% online course. So when they talk about class, it's about the LMS forums. And then doing self-learning when needed. Okay, to me, overall, we go up one level up when we design. Okay, number one, the educator needs to be skilled on how to bring about student engagement, on how to redesign or design the courses. The approach that we adopt pedagogically must be right, must be, the elements must be well blended. And of course, we choose the right technologies. So it is the LMS, it is what is appropriate in terms of social media, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and then we assume, and then we also think about what technology are they using. Is it mobile most of the time, mobile device? Is it the tablet, or is it the notebook, or is it the PC? We found that most students, in fact, maybe almost 50%, or was it 60% of the students actually use their mobile phones during the WebEx sessions. And that's interesting because they say that's not the easiest, the most practical. Sometimes they don't have a notebook with them. They had to borrow from somebody. So this is the reality. So we have to think about, them quite a significant amount of time using mobile devices. Now, again, if just to capture the main element, or the main importance of student engagement. Now, it is a key to student success because number one, they will be satisfied with their learning journey, learning experience. Hence, we will have increased student retention, and hence we'll also have increased student success, student graduation. So student engagement is key to successful online learning, as mentioned before. If I were to do a SWOT analysis, this is what I did recently. So we have the SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And these are my take, strength, with online learning, we can reach far and wide. We can reach out to an international group of students, not necessarily just local. And we could have hundreds or thousands of students. We could, have them use their personal devices most of the time, and some of the time, notebooks, or tablets, powerful tablets. And we can provide 24/7. So if we were reaching out students in different countries, it will be like 24/7. We are in Malaysia. We have already prepared whatever we needed to prepare, and they're still learning, in different time zones, except when we meet online, at a reasonable time frame, and most people are internet savvy, so we leverage on that. And then the opportunity, this COVID-19 pandemic has made people homebound, working from home, or because they have to be quarantined. And assuming that the infrastructure and the internet access are good. So that's an opportunity. However, there are weaknesses. Both students and lecturers may incur a steep learning curve because it may not be natural or intuitive to them, use of technology. Sometimes they fumble, but as long as their attitude is open, they want to change, that should not be a problem at all. But again, in terms of threats, sometimes we have low confidence among the lecturers and students, and maybe poor implementation by universities or by lecturers. And again, maybe challenges in terms of infrastructure, internet, and devices. All right, I think I've reached almost the end. So basically, this was something I put together a few years ago for another presentation, but this was A to Z. If you wanted to know more about pedagogies or about key elements in terms of learning or beyond learning, and this is a slide that I could share with you. If you want to visit it, you're welcome to do so. So that's about it. So thank you very much. I hope I have shared a gist of what I feel is student engagement and what my students felt or stated what student engagement was, and some of the things that we're doing at USM in terms of that connecting the dots. So thank you very much. Pak Fauzi.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Zoraini, for an insightful presentation. And now it's time for Q&A. We've got several questions here. The first question is from, can we have the questions from the committee? Okay, for session 1. Okay, the first question it is for Prof. Eko. Before doing the research, do you build the system first or just using the system such as Zoom, etc.? From Melly.
Okay, thank you. Pertanyaannya dari siapa, Pak Fauzi?
From Melly.
Okay, apa maksud stage keempat? Okay. For the 2 dimension, for 2 dimension, kita menggunakan yang sudah ada, Zoom, kemudian Webex, Microsoft Meet, semua yang biasa dipakai di Indonesia, we are going to use that. Tapi untuk yang 3D environment, kita akan mendesain environment-nya dulu, Ibu. Ya, jadi misalnya untuk ujian skripsi, environment-nya biasanya kayak apa sih kalau ujian skripsi di Indonesia kalau di ruang kelas gitu ya? Dan ada yang duduk, ada yang presentasi, ada PowerPoint misalnya kita akan bikin lingkungannya seminimum mungkin. Karena nanti kita akan menggunakan 3D, kita pakai Google kita pakai 3D. Dan kita akan melihat muka-mukanya sendiri dengan avatarnya, begitu. Jadi kita harus bikin environment itu, Jadi ruangannya harus di-digitalize, pakai 360 derajat kamera itu. Nah, ruang kelas juga begitu. Kalau kita pakai ruang kelas yang kita tidak kenal, biasanya akan menjadi asing gitu ya. Tapi nanti kita akan digitalize the classroom exactly like it is. Jadi misalnya kalau di UT ada ruangan kelas atau di SMA ada ruang kelas, di SD, di kampus kita akan digitalize persis seperti ruang kelas itu. Sehingga si students merasa benar-benar seolah-olah berada secara fisik di tempat itu. Makanya langkah 4 ada mengkonstruk yang itu. Tapi kalau yang 2D, yang kita desain adalah sesi-sesi engagement-nya. Ya Zoom, pakai Zoom. Tapi Zoom yang seperti apa? Apakah Anda menyapa setiap orang yang ada di Zoom dengan memanggil namanya pada chatting? Ya kan? Kita biasanya lihat tuh, kalau namanya dipanggil nanti kita lihat brainwave-nya naik apa turun tuh. Ya. Nah, dari situ kita bisa melihat. Atau ketika gurunya agak melakukan humor sedikit gitu ya, kita lihat. Gitu ya. Yang lucu nanti kadang-kadang kita biasa aja anaknya tertawa sendiri. Nah, itu biasanya dia lagi buka yang lain tuh. Nah, hal semacam itu akan kita amati secara mikro, Bapak Ibu sekalian ya, teman-teman sekalian. Jadi, Yang kita rancang kalau untuk Zoom, untuk teleconference yang kita rancang adalah instructionalnya. Ya, model instructionalnya ya. Tapi kalau untuk yang 3D adalah environment-nya benar-benar. Karena kita akan datang sebagaimana kita datang itu. Nah, 3D itu sendiri kalau kita lihat itu bisa macam-macam ya. Pertama, modelnya adalah pakai handphone gitu, pakai handphone atau pakai notebook atau pakai PC. Layarnya tetap di depan, cuman ini bisa kita scroll 360 derajat pakai jari ya, we scroll it. That's the first model dalam 3D virtual reality. The second mode adalah kitanya yang berputar, kitanya yang naik turun, kita yang lihat ke bawah ada lantai, ke atas ada apa itu dan lain sebagainya. Kita secara fisik kita harus bergerak. Nah, tapi tetap handphonenya di depan. Nah, model ketiga adalah yang menggunakan Google itu. Jadi yang ditaruh seperti itu. Nah, itu benar-benar kita melihat suatu environment 360 derajat tanpa ada bocoran dari gambar yang ada. Nah, itu yang dimaksud dengan we are going to construct the environment. Ya, kita akan digitalize ruang kelasnya. Kita akan digitalize ruang diskusi. Misalnya kalau diskusi di kantin, ya kantinnya kita digitalize. Itu maksudnya Pak Prof.
Right. Thank you, Prof. And then another question. Then the question from Pak Ngasifudin. Sorry. Okay, now we have another question from Pak Ngasifudin. Please more explanation about the stage 4, preparing the virtual environment for experiment. Bagaimana implementasinya di lapangan? Possible-kah bila diberikan contohnya? Tapi ini sebenarnya tadi sudah dibahas ya, Prof.
Dua-duanya udah saya bahas.
Sudah dibahas, baik. Thank you, Prof. And then another question for Prof. Zora. Which one is more dominant that affects student engagement? From the teacher or technology side?
Okay, yeah. All right, Pak Rahmat. I'm going to say it's the teacher. Technology is only a tool, yeah, but it is the teacher that will make a big difference. It's a human thing. So as I mentioned earlier, we can have high tech, but it's always high touch that's more important. So jadi the more important person is the teacher.
Okay, thank you. And then another question. Question. Okay. It is for Prof. Eko. Does the research design also include learning engagement for substance or practical material from Andayani? And then the second one, how do we prepare learning model in engagement virtual environment from the beginning, from Tersia Angela?
Oke, wah pertanyaannya susah. Nomor 1, does the research design also include learning engagement for substance or practical material? Maksudnya ini untuk yang ini ya, untuk yang pendidikan vokasi gitu ya. Untuk sementara saya tidak membedakan antara yang vokasi or yang academic, pure academic or pure vocational gitu ya. Karena kan yang dilihat adalah behaviornya, kognitifnya ya dan lain sebagainya. Tapi intinya adalah in any session ya. I give you the examples. Kelas 1 SD ya, kelas 1 SD, primary school. The first degree the level 1 of the primary school. Pak Hozi ya, kalau Anda lihat anak-anak kelas 1 misalnya, waktu kita kelas 1 apa sih yang lapar? Yang lapar itu kan ototnya, betul ya? Anak-anak pengen bergerak, pengen bernyanyi, pengen ngomong. Mulut-mulutnya nih ototnya gatel, pengen cerita apa yang terjadi during the weekend. They want to sing, they want to play, gitu kan ya? Dia ingin menggerakkan semua muscle-nya ini, karena lapar muscle-nya itu kalau anak-anak kecil ya. Tapi lihat apa yang dilakukan guru-guru SD ketika pakai Zoom. Ayo anak-anak matikan semua mikrofonnya, malah di-mute sama gurunya. Anak kelas 1 SD di-mute selama 2 jam, gimana Anda bisa mendapatkan engagement yang kuat di situ? Mereka pengen cerita gitu kan. Ayahku baru saja jatuh dari motor. Yang lain ngomelin, ayahku juga malah 2 kali kan gitu ya. Yang lain cerita, papaku juga 6 kali gitu kan. Yang lain cerita lagi, oh itu papaku yang nabrak. Nah, itu mereka they want to tell the story ya. Mereka ingin bergerak gitu istilahnya. Tapi justru kita matikan itu dengan mute, dengan dipaksa, dengan listen. Nah, ya kan? Itu hal-hal sederhana. Saya tidak melihat itu sebagai suatu akademik atau vokasi whatever, karena itu semuanya adalah embedded convergent dalam satu hal. There are studies in Indonesia saying that using the teleconference like this, our concentration is only the first 15 to 30 minutes. After that, you have to fight for the screen, ya nggak? Ya kan? You have to fight for the screen because you cannot assume that your students only open your screen. Maybe at the same time they are opening the WhatsApp, they are opening email, they are opening Netflix, YouTube. Nobody knows, gitu ya. You have to win the screen. So in order to win the screen, so that you will have an engagement, there are many things that you have to do. Jadi banyak yang mengatakan, oh kalau itu bukan vokasi, itu academic, fine. You don't have to praktek, you don't have to apa. Nanti dulu. The intonation, the assignment, pop-up quiz, ya. Itu bagian-bagian yang harus ada untuk mendapatkan engagement itu. Ya, itu basic dasar. Jadi mau academic, mau vocational, saya akan bergerak di level basic dulu. Ya, basic idea. When you get this basic, Anda bisa akan tahu kalau itu suasananya untuk praktikum atau suasananya untuk highly kognitif kayak pelajaran filosofi dan lain sebagainya, Anda bisa mendapatkan hal-hal semacam itu. Karena practical situation can be boring also. Betul kan ya? Ya, misalnya chef ya. Saya punya sekolah ada chefnya ya. Kalau chefnya masak, everybody at home you have to cook as I did gitu ya. Betul ya? Tapi there will be a different engagement if the chef ya sometimes they call the name of the person yang sekarang praktek di rumah, yang lagi masak di rumah. Dibandingkan saya bilang saudara, bagaimana anak-anak, I'm using a generic of variables. Nobody feel engaged. But sometimes I call, how is your food, Ira? How about you, Budi? Do you have a problem? And then Budi answered the question. Those are the interactions that are required, whether it's in academic or in the vocational schools. The interaction, the feedback, the existence, gitu ya, the visibility in the term of the electronics, these are the thing that we have to mix to create a positive engagement. Itu Pak Fauzi. Jadi yang penting adalah cara berinteraksinya gitu ya. Nah, hal-hal itu yang ingin kita temukan. Sekarang kan kebanyakan hipotesa semua kan ya. Ya kan? It's like I don't know because the new generation is different than my generation. In my generation, if we are dating somebody gitu ya, kita masih kirim-kiriman surat. We send a letter, okay? And when you see a letter from the loved one, you smile, right? You smile, and then you feel You feel the life full with colorful, gitu kan ya istilahnya ya. And then you are really motivated because your love is being gitu kan accepted by your girlfriend. At that time, actually, you are not your girlfriend is not in front of you. What you see is only letter. But how come? With only letter, you have an engagement, quote unquote, in terms of reading the letter. There must be something there. There must be something that's why we in the team also involve the asynchronous one, not just the synchronous. The asynchronous mean their interaction in between the learners and the materials. Yeah, not even the teacher is there. But let's see whether they feel engaged when they see our assignment, when they see our videos. Yeah, that's the thing that we are going to research. Begitu Pak Fauzi. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Eko. And then we have another question. Okay, This question is for Prof. Zora. Does gamification improve student engagement in online education?
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely, yeah. The undergraduates will probably, the undergraduates, all right, okay. The undergraduates will probably benefit, yeah, from the gamification. Yeah, especially the younger people, yeah. Nowadays, we even talk about badges, yeah. When we do micro-credentials, we talk about badges, and that form of giving a badge is also a form of gamification. But I think we don't overdo, yeah, with gamification. We want them to focus on the learning rather than on collecting badges or on being rewarded, with something that might distract them from the learning process itself. I think gamification is good. There could be, for example, if we give crossword puzzles and we want, let's say we group them, into, let's say, 5 or 6 groups, and we want to encourage them to solve the puzzle, maybe the fastest team will get a reward. So yeah, once in a while it's good. It's like a quiz, crossword puzzles, and we could employ that. Sometimes it's rewarding them with a game that we have to be careful. So we talk about the level. So maybe do more gamification at the primary, at the lower secondary, ataupun apa namanya tadi, the junior high school, the senior high school, maybe even less. And in the postgraduate level, just limit it to a few things that will focus on the learning rather than distract them from the learning. So that's my answer. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Zora. And we still have questions here. Now we've come to the second session. The first question is for Prof. Eko. What is the first question? What is the future and opportunities for crowd research and crowd learning in Indonesia, considering that we have entered the crowdsourcing era? The second one, how as a lecturer to stay up to date and not be left behind with advances in digital technology and related to the times? What are the core competencies that need to be held? From Medina.
Okay, I answer number 2 first. Yeah, number 2. There is a framework for the teacher of the 21st century by UNESCO, saying that there are 3 things that the lecturers today can have to make them always up to date to the current situation. Number 1 adalah yang namanya technology literacy. Ya, technology literacy itu artinya adalah kita bisa menggunakan teknologi dengan baik untuk berbagai hal terkait dengan learning. Kita mencari ilmu di situ, kita berinteraksi di situ, kita mencari sumber belajar di situ, kita mendalami ilmu melalui mengikuti seminar dan lain sebagainya. Jadi number 1 is the technology literacy. But the second one, if you can use the technology in a good way, you can use it for the second, what they call is the knowledge deepening. Knowledge deepening means masing-masing Anda punya fokus studinya, masing-masing Anda punya keahliannya sendiri, punya talentsnya masing-masing. Dengan menguasai teknologi literacy, maka Anda bisa melakukan knowledge deepening. Anda bisa memperdalam ilmu Anda secara mandiri. Anda yang belajar biologi, Anda bisa mendalami secara mandiri ilmu biologi Anda. Karena Anda sudah memiliki teknologi literacy. Anda bisa bicara dengan siapapun profesor yang ada di dunia, termasuk para pemenang Nobel, gitu ya. Kalau Anda adalah ahli olahraga, ya dengan teknologi literacy Anda bisa melakukan knowledge deepening. Bagaimana bisa menjadi champion, apa yang harus dilakukan, ya, dan lain sebagainya. Baru yang ketiga, kalau kita bisa mendalami dengan baik knowledge deepening, maka the third one is the knowledge creation. Ya, itu adalah puncaknya dari taxonomy Bloom gitu kan ya. We can create something new. Kita bisa membuat novelty. Kita bisa membuat teori baru, produk baru, pendekatan baru, approach baru, apapun yang bisa menyelesaikan permasalahan manusia. itunya UNESCO, di sana dikatakan. Nah, untuk bisa itu Anda harus punya 6 kompetensi besar. Ya, kompetensi besar. Number 1, you know what is the position of ICT within education environment. Yeah, to facilitate learning, etc. Number 1. The second one, you have to have a competency in the pedagogy, especially the cyber pedagogy or today's pedagogy or andragogy. The third one, you have to have an ability to create an agile curriculum, a flexible curriculum, and to do the assessment of it, the effectiveness. The fourth one, you have to be able to use IT for learning, for conducting education. The fifth one, you have to be able to use IT to help you administer or organize your learning process. And the last one is, of course, the professional development program for teachers, because it's a long life learning. Ya, itu untuk pertanyaan kedua. Pertanyaan nomor 1, crowd research, crowd learning. Yeah, why not? Actually, if I ask the teachers how many % of the subject, of the materials that you are going to deliver in the classroom that cannot be found in the internet, most of the teachers said everything is in the internet. Okay, so actually, if everything is the internet, you're already conducting what we call as the crowdsourcing, because all of the knowledge or crowd knowledge, all of the knowledge we put in the internet. The second one, if you ask the students which one is more up to date, which one is more interesting, which one is more deep in explanation, your teacher explanation or other teacher explanation in the internet. So what I mean here is not just the internet replacing teachers, no, but what I mean is the role of teachers and lecturers are different right now. Yeah, you are the architect of the learning process. So instructional designer is very important for today's learning environment. The principles of the education of the learning is still the same. The focus is, of course, the learners, correct? Interaction is very important between the learners and the educators and the source of the knowledge. And you have to have the feedback, evaluation in the learning environment. So dengan arti kata lain, Bapak Ibu sekalian, sekarang tidak lagi masanya belajar sendiri. Tidak lagi masanya meneliti sendiri. Justru sekarang ini adalah collaboration is a must, begitu. Ya, oleh karena itu tadi kalau dilihat kita saja yang mau melakukan ini berkolaborasi. 6 itu dari 4 institusi yang berbeda. Karena kami yakin kita saling melengkapi. Ya, ada yang ahli instructional design, ada yang ahli evaluation, ada yang ahli information technology, ya, dan lain sebagainya. We collaborate, ya. Dan sekarang yang namanya crowdsourcing itu atau crowd research atau crowd learning itu is a borderless gitu ya. Tidak harus sesama orang Indonesia. Tadi saya senang sekali Prof. Zoraini mengatakan, mengapa kita tidak join? We are ASEAN gitu ya. Ayo kita join antara ASEAN, sama-sama sharing, conducting research together. Or in the Asia Pacific, lebih besar lagi gitu ya. Atau in the Asia continent, atau even the world gitu. It's a borderless ya. So the sky is the limit. Demikian Bapak-Bapak.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Eko. And then question for, it is for Prof. Eko. As mentioned on your slide that there are 3 dimensions of engagement, how do we as lecturers keep connecting to our students during this e-learning process, especially emotional and behavioral level? From Mutmainatul Madiyah.
Okay, how do we keep connecting to our students during this e-learning especially? Okay. Justru ini yang mau di-riset, Pak. Keep connecting to our student. Justru ini yang mau di-research gitu ya. But we have our hypothesis ya. Hypothesisnya begini ya. Kalau kita embark on the screen ya, tidak bisa lama-lama. This is our hypothetical ya. nggak bisa lama-lama. Kenapa? Karena mata bisa lelah, indera kita bisa lelah ya. Kita terbiasa tidak berhadapan dengan sesuatu yang setiap barang ini kan sebenarnya ada radiasi gitu ya. Tapi radiasi monitor, radiasi peralatan itu jauh lebih tinggi, lebih intens. Jadi kalau Anda 2 jam di kelas dipindahin 2 jam di Zoom, saya tidak merasakan bahwa itu terjadi engagement. Number one, yang pertama, jangan lama-lama, itu hipotesis kami. Ya, makanya flip classroom itu sangat dianjurkan ya. Flip classroom sangat dianjurkan. Saya tidak pernah ngajar itu lama-lama. Yang kedua adalah engagement itu terjadi kalau terasa ada interaction yang sifatnya adalah seolah-olah one to one. Ya, saya biasanya melakukannya ya, walaupun saya ini YouTuber gitu Pak. Sekali YouTuber datang tuh bisa 300 orang, 600 orang, 1000 orang. Tapi how I make engagement with them? Itu kadang-kadang saya panggil namanya. Ya, jadi chatting itu saya pakai itu. Misalnya saya bilang, terima kasih loh Pak Timbul, Pak Dede untuk pertanyaannya. Terima kasih untuk Bu Zuliati, Pak Nurdin gitu ya. Nah, saya ngomong sama mereka. Pak Nahri, oh baru gabung nih, dari mana nih Pak Nahri gitu ya. Saya ngomong gitu. Nah, itu walaupun random, it creates some kind of that I try to build the connection with my audience. Ya, jadi itu contoh-contoh yang kedua. Harus ada sapaan-sapaan yang sifatnya customized gitu ya. Jadi saya tidak seolah broadcast. Jadi saya kalau misalnya merekam itu biasanya orang jarang mendengarkan. Tapi kalau live, dilihat bagaimana cara live itu berkata-kata. Intonasi ini sangat penting ya. Banyak orang bilang, kenapa Pak Eko kalau YouTube, kalau Zoom itu selalu kayak orang teriak-teriak, istri saya di rumah marah-marah, ribut terus gitu kan? Karena I try to win my screen gitu. Saya yakin di sekitar di Anda pasti selain screen saya ada WA, ada yang ngerjain proposal, ada yang lihat Netflix, ada yang pakai YouTube, ada yang buka Gmail. I have to win the screen. Cara-cara saya bicara, intonasi, pilihan kata gitu ya. Dan yang berikut yang 4 adalah nggak bisa monoton. Zoom terus nggak bisa. Di tengah-tengah harus ada satu intervensi. Tiba-tiba mendadak kuis, tiba-tiba ada video, tiba-tiba ada apa. Sesuatu yang membuat adrenalin naik gitu ya. Karena yang berkecamuk ini kan antara gelombang alfa dan beta nih ya. Antara gelombang yang pengen atensi, pengen konsentrasi, dengan yang pengen relax. Nah, ini semua nih. Ya, kalau atensi sama relaxnya itu bisa bareng, itu engagementnya bagus tuh biasanya. Tapi kalau atensinya kuat, terlalu serius gitu ya, kemudian relaxnya jarang, itu membuat menjadi tegang gitu ya. Menjadi tegang, menjadi kaku proses pembelajarannya biasanya. Tapi sebaliknya, kalau relaxnya terlalu banyak daripada attentionnya, itu mulai ngantuk loh katanya ya. Mulai santai, perhatiannya menjadi kurang. Nah, itulah yang akan kita research, Ibu Mutmainatul Mardiah. Ya, mohon maaf kalau salah saya mengucapkannya. Ya, nah itu kita lihat dari segi tadi, dari segi pikirannya nangkep apa tidak, dari segi perilakunya. Dan perilaku itu misalnya apa? Dia bertanya, Prof, saya senang dengan yang begini. Nah, bagaimana dengan begitu? Dia bertanya walaupun lewat chatting, gitu ya. Dia bertanya. Nah, itu ada perilaku seperti itu. Nah, kadang-kadang saya selalu jawab di pertanyaan di chatting. Ayo, sekarang semua lagi di mana? Mereka jawab rame-rame, gitu ya. Jadi chatting itu kebanyakan bukan antar mereka. Kita juga harus menyapa mereka yang chatting itu. Kita bertanya, jawabannya di chatting, gitu ya. Nah, oleh karena itu Bapak Ibu kalau ingin melihat model-model bagaimana selama ini saya dan teman-teman mencoba menjalin engagement, silakan. Apa itu? Nah, saya klik di sini. Silakan buka Ekoji Channel. Nah, Ekoji Channel. Semenjak tanggal 16 Maret tahun lalu saya sudah membuka Ekoji Channel untuk melakukan eksperimen bagaimana mengengage dalam suatu proses pembelajaran, walaupun lewat YouTube, walaupun lewat WA, saya masih mengajar hanya menggunakan WhatsApp kepada guru-guru di seluruh Indonesia. Oleh karena itu, Ekoji Channel, like, share, subscribe. Terima kasih.
Oke, terima kasih Prof. Eko, excellent. And then another question. Okay, this question is for Professor Zoraini. In my opinion, it is not difficult to increase learner engagement for high school student or university student, but it is quite difficult to get student engagement in virtual environment for elementary student. Is there any solution for it? From Ahmad Ginanjar.
Yeah. Okay, Pak Ahmad, you are right, yeah. All right, you are correct, yeah. The primary or the elementary student has a shorter focus of attention. Jadi and they tend to be more physical, ya. They cannot sit, ya. Kita tidak bisa meminta dia duduk lama, ya. They have to move around. They have to, and then the attention span is even much shorter. In fact, nowadays I'm not sure if the adults also have. I think the adults also have shorter attention spans, yeah, because of our mobile devices, because of the social media. I think our attention span is also getting shorter. I'm not an expert, yeah, in elementary education, but I know that the students cannot be made to sit for so long, and they need to move around, yeah. So kalau online, maybe we can still do something. Yeah? Maybe we can ask them, maybe after every 15-20 minutes, kita bisa minta the elementary student, yeah, to take a break, and always ask them questions, yeah, perhaps, yeah, not to have them switch off their microphone, but to have them answer questions, or to give them quizzes online, and then they have to rush to answer. Depends, yeah, on the situation, depends on the subject. But yes, it's not easy. When I say engagement, there are at few levels, yeah, at the course level, at the when we are online with them during that 1 hour tutorial, and in the activity, the assignment. I mean, it's engagement in all these tasks. Yeah, it's not just getting their attention. It is in everything that they have to do for the course. Yeah. So assignment, exams, coming to the online tutorial, and reading the iModule, or watching the videos that are suggested, going to the LMS forum. So it's quite a bit for us to motivate, yeah, our students to do all these different things, yeah, for online learning. So I'm sorry I can't answer the question about the elementary bit, yeah, but you are right. It is not so easy. But maybe just think about what is it that we can do for the younger students online, such as asking questions, such as asking them to do online quizzes, or online play online games, and so on. Yeah, that will lead to the learning. Yeah, not distract them from learning. Okay, thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Zara. And then another question. Okay, this is still for Prof. Zara. How to make any lecturer who didn't know this will know about this scheme, student engagement? And how if the lecturer already have a student who didn't interest negative in term to the lecture or course? And last, how to increase lecturer and students to feel more engagement for the class in online method like LMS from Anonymous?
Okay, there are 3 questions. Let me just answer the first one very quickly, then I'll turn on my video. Yeah, how to have lecturers know about student engagement through seminars, through webinars, through talking about it every now and then. Jadi sampai itu ya, one day the culture is about how to achieve student engagement through what we do, yeah, for our courses. So that will be, maybe it'll take a year or 2, tapi lambat laun ya, lama-lama jadi ya. Okay, then how if the lecturer already have a student who are not interested, yeah, in the lecture, that stuff. Maybe because we're in distance education, what we can do is to try to reach out to the student. But you know what? Half of the time, or most of the time, that student is already not contactable. Yeah? By the time they decide to exhibit negative interest, yeah, it's a little bit too late. Yeah, that's why at the very beginning we have to establish the student engagement. What will students? How can we engage the students at various levels through our lectures, through the readings, through the videos that we provide. There must be something that they must do, yeah? So we don't just tell them, okay, go watch the video, but we must tell them, all right, this video is about such and such. Look out for this and this. And then after that, at the end of the video, share your thoughts in the forum, or I will ask for your thoughts when we meet again online. So something like that, yeah? We get them to do things bit by bit until they actually do it. And we motivate them, yeah, that way. And then how to increase lecturer and students to feel more engaged? Basically, make it meaningful. In the very beginning, you know about intrinsic motivation as well as extrinsic motivation, yeah? What we want to do, maybe we start with extrinsic motivation, but with adult learners, the intrinsic motivation is the staying power for them. So we have to create that level of motivation. So at the beginning, maybe to have them discuss in class, discuss in the online forums, is to give them marks. That will work. But then eventually, when they are used to it, when it becomes culture, it's a habit, later on, you will find that when you give them a scenario or give them something meaningful to do as part of the online discussions, you'll find that they will do it because they enjoy the learning, not because there are marks for those forums, yeah. But it's a process. It will take time. So that's. I hope that helps, yeah. Whoever, yeah, bapa atau ibu yang menanya soalan ini, I hope that helps to answer the question.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Zara. And then another question. It will be the last question for this session. This question is for Prof. Eko. What method or sampling will be used in this research, in your research? Is there consideration to choose which school to be chosen as a sample, because the schools with good quality usually have students with high motivation for studying? From Helena, Pradita University, from University, Prof.
This must be one of my students or my colleague. Okay, what kind of sampling they are going to use ya? Theoretically kita itu harus mengambil paling nggak dari 3 domain ya, dari satuan pendidikan yang kualitasnya bagus gitu ya, yang dianggap top gitu, kemudian yang satu mewakili yang rata-rata, dan satu yang dianggap masih memiliki mutu yang di bawah begitu ya, agar kita bisa melihat lebih lengkap. Itu teori seperti itu. Jadi kita akan melakukan di 3 level itu ya. The level A, level B, or level C type of school. Itu yang pertama. Karena Indonesia ini kan very diverse gitu ya. Terus kedua, kita usahakan juga mudah-mudahan waktunya cukup ini dari 3 zona waktu yang beda, Pak. Indonesia Barat, Indonesia Tengah, dan Indonesia Timur. Itu rencana kita. Seperti itu, Bapak Ibu sekalian. Ya. Dan biasanya nanti sekolahnya kita yang milih atau ada yang mengajukan gitu. Kami punya prinsip bahwa it's better kita punya sama-sama semangat gitu ya. Jadi nanti kita mungkin ada call for partnerships gitu ya, ada call for participation gitu. Sekolah mana yang tertarik begitu. Terus nanti kita akan pilih dari sekolah yang tertarik itu supaya ada mutual mutually benefits gitu ya. Soalnya kalau kita yang ditunjuk ternyata lagi sibuk atau lagi tidak begitu tertarik dengan engagement, nanti kan jadi sulit ya. Jadi rencana kami adalah call for participation untuk sekolah-sekolah yang mau membantu kita ya. Kemudian kita akan bagi Indonesia Tengah, Barat, dan Timur. Frankly, I learned from the smart school from Malaysia, Prof. Zoraini.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, sometimes ya.
Yeah, 1997 ya.
Nah, saya banyak belajar dari smart schoolnya Malaysia, how they select schools ya, how they conduct it. I learned a lot from. Terima kasih itu Prof. Zoraini, itu dibuka open kan ya waktu itu ya, the white papernya ya, so we can study from there. Thank you so much. I learned a lot from smart school concept in Malaysia at that time. Thank you.
All right, and now we will learn from you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you, Prof. Eko. Well, that's the end of today's webinar. Due to time allocation, we are very sorry that we cannot accommodate all of the questions from you. On behalf of ICE Institute, Universitas Terbuka, and the organizing committee, we'd like to thank to our speakers, Professor Eko and Professor Zora, for the presentation, which I'm sure it will be very fruitful for our online teaching learning practitioners. Now, I will invite Bu Eka Julianti to give the certificate of appreciation to the two prominent speakers.
Okay. Good afternoon, Prof. Eko Indrajit, Professor Zoraini Wati Abbas. Thanks for the time today. We proudly present this certificate to our speakers today. The first for Prof. Eko Indrajit. Okay. Okay. And the second one for Prof. Zoraini Wati Abbas for the contribution and present to the event. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Prof. Eko and Prof. Zora. Let's give a virtual applause for the two speakers.
Yeah, terima kasih.
Okay. Also, we'd like to thank to all participants from everywhere for joining today's webinar. And then we will take a, screen capture of photo together.
Yeah.
Okay, please turn your video on. Okay, from the committee. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the ICE Institute will have the 4th series of the webinar next month. Last but not least, please follow our social media account on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You may search Indonesia Cyber Education Institute. Thank you all. Have a nice day and stay healthy. See you.
Thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Prof. Eko.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Zora.
Prof. Eko. Prof. Zoraini. Thank you so much.
Terima kasih.
Terima
Yeah,
kasih.
Prof. Pauline.
Thank you, Prof. Eko.
Prof. Ojat, and then Pak Rahmat.
Paulina, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pak Rahmat.
Pak Rahmat, Pak Ojat. Pak.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Semua sehat, salam
See you
sehat.
around.
Makasih, thank you, makasih.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Anunya? Oh, nggak bisa ya? Kok anunya feedbacknya nggak?
digunakan link yang tadi. Panitia harap dibantu untuk menampilkan link. Oke, silahkan Bapak Ibu semuanya mencoba untuk klik link yang pertama dan yang kedua. Nah, ini dia linknya, silahkan diklik dan tolong dilaporkan apakah sudah lancar linknya, sudah bisa diakses. Oke, dari Bu Kintan Desiranti sudah dapat mengakses. Terima kasih Bu. Oke, Bu Nurinda, it's working then. Thank you very much Bu. Bu Rike masih mengalami trouble. Bu, linknya sudah kami perbaharui, silahkan Ibu coba akses. Bu Fahria juga dari Ternate, silahkan dicoba kembali. Oke, dari beberapa partisipan ya sudah melaporkan, sudah linknya sudah bisa diakses. Terima kasih semuanya. Mohon maaf jika ada kekurangan dari kami panitia penyelenggara.